In edition 2 of my very celebrated by me series, Versus, you have to say it like, you have to say it like this. Versus, much like you would say, Blade Ups. On the stump, we pit the Ferrum Forge Designed, Drop Sold, Protech Manufactured Mordax against the Protech Designed, Protech Manufactured Malibu. Sorry, I don't know who Protech designed the Malibu. I guess I could write them an email. They would probably love to get an email from me, wouldn't they? No, they wouldn't. So it's button lock versus button lock. Which is more better? Which is less better? Which do I like a lot, even though I didn't think I was really going to? But which one do I love? Which one edges it out? Knife guys only have two positions. It's I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really did, or I love it. Now, spoiler alert, it's the Protech. The idea here was I was going to search for a thumbnail, but since I don't have a lot of footage shot, I'm just going to use the whole thing here. But let's not waste any more of your time getting into the dimensions right here. Now, you don't know this because I haven't told you yet, but these were both loaned to me by my brother in leather, Matt. FP Leatherworks, Foolish Pride Leatherworks, in the description. Now, we first thought like, oh, brother in leather, that sounds kind of creepy, man. I just mean Matt. He's not really my brother, and I don't make leather stuff, or I'm not really into leather. Like, I like wallets, yes, but chaps or masks, no. But he makes the leather things like wallets. And at this point, you know what? I probably should stop talking. Yep, that's good advice. I don't want this channel to come off as weird. Okay, so the most famous Protech button lock is the much lauded by the knife community and influencer circuit alike, the Malibu. In fact, you probably have one. Now, I don't know if they named it after the car or the place. You know, if someone asked me if I'd like to drive to Malibu, I'd say, that sounds like it's full of assholes. Or a car, hey bro, what would it take to get you in this Malibu today? You probably have to stuff me into the trunk. But in the knife world, generally speaking, the Malibu is a button lock flipper with a Warncliffe blade. Maybe it's a sheep's foot. Maybe it's a reverse tanto. I don't even know anymore. And like a lot of the Protechs, this handle is constructed out of lightweight aluminum. Now, the Warncliffe blade here is stonewashed and made from the nearly metallurgical twin of M390 known as CPM 20V. One is Buller and one is Crucible. You know, a super steel. Action is provided by a flipper tab or button lock. Now, there's not a wrong choice here. It's drop shut both ways. The flipper is a bit more immediate, but you can pop and flick with the button, and it's a little more fidgetable. Now, the button lock is a press and a fling. Now, when Matt first sent me this, I consulted some of my knife friends. Yeah, those are real people. Noticing the button lock was a little easier than the flipper, I was like, it's kind of hard on the Malibu. And Eugene, who has owned a Malibu, or has held them or knows about them, said that the button locks dry out. And I don't think there's like leather in there, but you know, that means it needs a little bit of lube. So just putting a touch of nano oil in there and the flipper became easier to flip. Now, there are a lot of variations of the Malibu, but this has a black anodized handle and a black clip. Now, for our new friends in knives, a button lock simply releases the blade with the press, and you generally have to do the scientific sounding fling, flick, or sling to get it to lock up. And on an auto, you just press the button and it fully deploys. So there's a big difference there. One would have a spring in them and the other would not. And on the other side here is the Mordax, a three-way between Drop, Protech, and Ferrum Forge. Now, this variation of the Mordax has a button lock. I believe there's a non-button lock version of the Mordax as well. Now, you can get the Mordax different places. This one is a Drop exclusive. I think it has to do with the colorways. There was even a milled option, but they're no longer available. Blade is also 20 CV, an anodized aluminum handle, and here it's dark green, or is it OD? Is it OD or is it green? All right, let's get down to comparing and contrasting. Now, the blade on the Mordax is larger. It has a larger finger choil, and its effective cutting edge is basically the same as the Malibu, though. The choil on the Malibu is much smaller, as it's the sharpening choil people like to complain about when a knife doesn't have it, versus the full finger choil on the Mordax. Now, you do that, you have that for your choking up, on the details. Which, how many people carve or whittle or feather stick with their Mordax? I'm sure there's a few out there. Now, the Mordax overall, it has a larger feel in the pocket as well. I also think the action on the Mordax is a bit smoother. And I did a little reading on the drop, under the post under the drop. And I saw some discussion on the product page there where a person thinks the Mordax can't possibly be nicer than the Malibu. Doing the little troll lol over someone who thinks the Mordax is better. Lol, you can't possibly be serious. And I would have to say that I think the Mordax, for my tastes, looks a little nicer and has a touch smoother action, and it feels nicer in the hand. So my opinion would be different than the lol troll gentleman. Both drop shut about the same though. Tab on the Mordax has larger but less aggressive jimping, the Hodor jimping, and wears on the pointer finger less than the Malibu. The Mordax has the more stock knife look with its drop point, and my lizard brain responds better to it. So again, I prefer the Mordax. Now, one of the important things knife people discuss all the time is edge geometry. Now, I don't know if the subtext on this channel is that I don't give much of a thought to it. Is it the batoning of the slip joints or processing firewood with machetes? That could be the big clue as to how much I value it. It's usually the stock term people use to describe cuts or slices better. You know, it's the all-encompassing term. Well, I prefer the edge geometry on because that knife happens to be sharper at the time. It's a theory. I know the edge geometry is a real thing. I feel sometimes people don't use it correctly. But, you know, I'm the guy that always uses the wrong tool for the job. However, as much as I hate things like the old saying goes, or when people use the words heritage or traditional very earnestly, the saying that is most accurate here is, let me assume the voice here. What's the best knife for the job? Answer is the one in your pocket. Or your chest rig. Yeah.
Or your boot knife.
Now, I'm not going to be the guy who needs a knife sharp enough to skin a tomato. I'm not going to split a hair in half, which, if you think about being able to split a hair in half, it's more of a performative thing than something you need to be able to do. Now, if a knife is reasonably sharp in the pocket, it can do as well as another knife that's also reasonably sharp in the pocket. So what I'm saying is that these are loaners, and I will use them minimally, and you won't get useful information about the cutting ability. Is it pretty sharp out of the box, or isn't it? It's about as far as I go. I'm more of the guy who likes the knife because it looks cool than a super serious appreciator of edge geometry. I know the counterpoint is a knife just is supposed to cut, so how well does it cut? I'm cutting cardboard, splitting wood with it, okay? Anyway, pocket clips. They both feature non-reversible pocket clips. Tip up, blade backward in the right pocket. Both are a deep carry style, but the Mordax has handle curvature that doesn't allow a full deep carry. Both have sunken, recessed hardware and easy access to the screws, as you can see there. I think the uncloaded clip of the Mordax slides in the pocket nicer. Maybe it's a clip tension thing too, but it's just the old in-out. Comparisons. First, we'll see how the Mordax looks next to the Paramilitary 2, the stock pocket knife for the channel. Know that I like this size of knife very well and the basic utility of it, and that if you hate this knife, then you probably hate the knives I like. And you may be really fucking wrong in your opinion, but it's still your opinion. Next, the Malibu. These are all in a similar size class, a cutting edge above 3 inches, not tiny, under 4 ounces. You know, you can see that. The Protech Don. Now this is an auto and I love it. It's a slim pocketable one without the pocket clip. I believe this is my first Protech. We're going to compare its size here to both. We're not going to make this last too long. Now the Protech Godfather. It's massive and light. Real hot shit. I don't know if you know this, but I love Protechs. They're always a fun knife, and their choice of lightweight aluminum and classic designs just hit the right spot for me. And I currently own one other Protech, and that's the Brand 2, the Brand 3. I know it's a running joke that I only remember at this point, but it's true I forget which it is. But you can search my channel where I have a video about it, and I tell you the right thing it is. Okay, the other button lock I have, the Surge Rager. I don't have a ton of button locks, but I might dabble in them more in the future. This one is really fun and good too at $150 as of the recording on this really early September 26th. There are still some titanium Ragers available on Surge's website. I don't know if when I'm done with this video in like a week and a half they'll still be there. Okay, that about does it. Thanks to Matt for loaning me these. Man, autocorrect really dropped the ball on that one. You can get the Malibu lots of places, and I searched for the Mordax and it seems it's sold out everywhere. Don't know if Protech's going to do another run. That's how they work. They do a batch of them, they send them to retailers, and then they disappear for a while. It's kind of what Microtech does too. Maybe they'll come back in stock, maybe they won't. And if you don't know, Matt, who loaned me this, is Foolish Pride Leather. He sent me a care package of leather stuff he makes as well. You know, he's got leather beer koozies. I know these aren't foam. They're not really practical, but sometimes you make things just because you can, and I love these. He also made my current pocket carry wallet, which is amazing, just a classic billfold. I carry too much shit in my wallet for a slim one, but he makes those too for, I guess most modern guys now are the slim pocket guys. They got like 1 or 2 credit cards and their ID and, a few hundreds in there, and that's it. And then in the pockets, it's 2 knives, a pry bar, a Glock, a key bar, and every one of those has a lanyard. Yeah, even the Glock. Probably a Hank in there too for your boogies. But I applaud your organizational skills and minimalist lifestyle. Say hi to the patrons. They're saying hi right back. None of these guys are minimalists. Just getting the design back to its roots, guys. Okay, I think this has been long enough. So like, subscribe, comment. Here's some of Matt's leather things to walk us out. Kind of like it's music. Except music is my voice. Links to his site below this knife think piece are down there, so check them out. And thank you for watching. And yes, that was the most awkward way to phrase that.